Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this right here. Has protecting Michael Jordan become gay or what, folks? I don't know. Has protecting Michael Jordan, do men sound gay about this now? Because I'm not trying to be offensive. We all know, a lot of people will say, well, what about LeBron James fans? Guys, those aren't LeBron James fans. There's no LeBron James fans when we talk about these guys on these platforms. These aren't LeBron James fans, right? Most of them never even play sports. They could give a damn about sports. They're just here to make money, to piss off the Michael Jordan fans. But I'm just saying, man, the protection of Michael Jordan, has it become gay sounding, gay feeling? I don't know, man. This don't really sound or feel manly to me that every time a fake LeBron James fan or platform says something about Michael Jordan, you know, Michael Jordan fans got to run back and react. Oh, this guy said this. We have to protect Mike. This guy said that about Mike. No way this happened that way. Why do you say this about Mike? You can't say that about Mike. No, this guy is saying this about Mike. I'm trying to tell you, man, this thing is getting a little fruity, man. Really. Again, these aren't LeBron James fans. These are guys that see that they can make money basically going in a circle. So the things that they keep saying about Michael Jordan, it's nothing new. So we're running back and basically repeating what we said in protection of Michael Jordan 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Oh, they said Michael Jordan, couldn't win without Scottie Pippen. Had to have Phil Jackson. It's just the same things that the LeBron James fans say. And I'm just saying, man, it's starting to sound borderline gay protecting Michael Jordan. And really, this dude don't even protect himself. That's the thing about it. I've said this again and again. LeBron James in his camp, the media, has had their fans back, through all this fake, Michael Jordan, LeBron James GOAT debate. But Michael Jordan really has never stood up and had his fans back in this whole thing. The thing about it, like I told you before, there is no GOAT debate in period, but there's no fake. Well, let me just say it's only a fake GOAT debate because it's not a GOAT debate. So that's what pisses everybody off, that it's not really a debate, right? But the only reason why it's a fake debate going on is because of guys like Michael Jordan in his era, guys, never stepped up to the plate and nipped this issue in the butt and said, no, we're not going to have this debate. LeBron James ain't on our level. He's not on our skill level. He's a flopper. He's a super team builder. He's a meltdown artist. He's a choker. This is what these guys should have came and said from the beginning, who played in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s at that time, if they were alive. Bill Russell. Where was Bill Russell through all this? Where's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar through all this, guys? Where's Magic Johnson? Where's Michael Jordan? Where's all these guys? And I'm not talking about, where's Larry Bird? Charles Barkley. And I'm not talking about, I got more rings. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about these guys have literally, the media, LeBron James himself, let me see, all these people in the LeBron James camp. Now you got NBA players literally dissing Michael Jordan in this era, since 2016? So again, like I said, it was on their backs to come out and nip this shit in the butt and say, no, not this dude. Give me somebody else. But not LeBron James. Not LeBron James. His MVPs are phonies. He's a meltdown artist. His skill level. No. Where were these guys from? And this is what Michael Jordan fans don't want to hold Michael Jordan in the prior eras accountable for. Why? Because they want to make money on YouTube. Because they know it's a fake GOAT debate. And they'll come out here and tell you, oh man, LeBron James this, LeBron James that, LeBron James this. But they won't sit there and tell you the things I'm telling you guys. Michael Jordan don't care about this fake GOAT debate. He don't care about it. But still, it's on his back and these guys in the past eras to where they should have nipped this shit in the butt and said, no, we're not having it. This guy don't measure up to be in a GOAT debate with us. So that's on Michael Jordan's back. They sit up there and they insulted the entire NBA. And I'm not trying to, take it off of, LeBron James back, but this is all they got, folks. This is all they had. Remember, nobody wanted to see this guy play in 2007 in the finals. Nobody wanted to see this guy, the lowest ratings of all time. Here he is. This is the thing that they clamor on as the biggest thing of a young LeBron James versus a young Michael Jordan, right? Because we all know Michael Jordan made his name before he even started winning championships, right? He made his name doing that. You got a guy like Bill Russell. This guy made his name early on, not because of his skill level. To me, I think it's that of a Dennis Rodman skill level, rebounding the defense, something like that. But Bill Russell made his name at a young age by being a winner. Michael Jordan and, people like Wilt Chamberlain made their name as being, something that we've never seen before. So the 2007 finals is something that the LeBron James fans always clamored on. Oh, the greatness that he had by going to the finals and dragging these guys to the finals at 22, 23 years old, however old it was, at that young age. Okay, fine. Why didn't anybody want to watch him? They still haven't explained that. And I'm the only smart one, right? I'm the only smart one to ever talk about this, because that shit in the GOAT debate right there. The GOAT debate that ain't even really a GOAT debate. But I'm just saying, this whole thing about LeBron James going to the finals at 22 years old, nobody ever talks about that, really. About nobody wanted to see that guy play back then. The chosen one, the anointed one, the guy with the most expectations. If it was that coming into the league that this guy had on his back, why the hell nobody want to see this guy play? And they keep always chopping up to Tim Duncan, and that's fine. But you can't have the lowest ratings with Tim Duncan of all time. You can have the second, the third, the fourth, the eighth. You can't have the lowest. You're supposed to cure that because you're the guy with all that pressure, the most expectations, that blah, 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 all that dribble that they talk. But no, you wasn't able to say, oh yeah, I'm playing Tim Duncan, but I'm not going to have the lowest ratings of all time. So nobody can explain why he was playing Tim Duncan 2 other times and it wasn't the lowest ratings of all time. Or even close. In the 210s. Oh, now I guess because Dwayne Wade was there, right? Dwayne Wade was there, right? Or was it the fact that they were rooting for you to lose? People actually wanted to see you lose. Like 2011, they wanted to see you lose. Every year you was with Miami, they wanted to see you lose. That's crazy. They didn't want to see you lose in 2007. They just didn't give a damn about you. There was nothing that anybody cared about. So, yeah, I'm the only smart one to figure that out and put that out there. But, yeah, man, I was talking about this on a post yesterday. And, I'm not trying to diss a lot of people, but a lot of times people will respond in a comment that really ain't got, and I try to be thorough about what I say, if not, repeat a lot of times, what I say in a post so people will understand. But the fact is, I was saying, okay, was it Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Isaiah Thomas beef scripted or what? Because before The Last Dance, we knew of no beef between Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. We just did it. Yes, we heard that stuff about, the LeBron James fans saying that Scottie Pippen, carried Michael Jordan, or he wasn't nothing without Scottie Pippen, or, whatever. But it was really never no beef. And we done heard a million times Pippen be on a panel talking about, yeah, Michael Jordan this, Michael Jordan that, I will never take LeBron James over Michael Jordan, all this stuff. And later on he switched his tune or whatever. But it wasn't like no dissing or nothing like that. And Isaiah Thomas, we hadn't really heard no beef about Michael Jordan since the early 90s, right? Since the early 90s. If it was beef, I don't remember it being beef. I think he just walked out, right? And then that was that. He basically won a battle, as far as, what Michael Jordan went on and became winning his championships, becoming the greatest player of all time. So I did Isaiah Thomas, whether he felt that or not, to get a job on NBC, he slurped Michael Jordan throughout the 90s. So I don't remember him and, Isaiah Thomas, even Isaiah Thomas taking that Dream Team hit. I don't remember the beef after that. All that beef had died. Not saying, Isaiah Thomas was in love with Michael Jordan, and maybe he was saying some stuff on NBC as a color analyst that he didn't want to say. But to me, even if he brought up, Michael Jordan, even if he brought up in The Last Dance that, it wasn't cool what Isaiah Thomas did, that's all he could have said. Oh, Isaiah Thomas, that incident wasn't cool. Whatever like that. But instead, he called the man an asshole in front of millions of people on TV. Yes, we all know he said he's the second greatest point guard of all time. But he said he was an asshole. Okay, but why? I don't understand. Like, why would you rekindle that in the first place? I don't get it. I mean, because he got Isaiah Thomas back. I mean, you won on the dream team. That's not enough. I mean, that messed Isaiah Thomas up for a long time. Isaiah Thomas had to eat that. You know, the next year he got beat by the Knicks, and he had to slurp Michael Jordan all through NBC. I mean, to have a job. I mean, how worse can it get? But what I'm trying to say is, and then you got the Scottie Pippen thing. Michael Jordan had a comment on that when he wasn't even playing at the time. And I don't know. A lot of people say, why do you even have to bring that up if he wasn't even playing at the time? He wasn't part of that. It really don't make no sense. So I'm not, whether you think I'm trying to say Michael Jordan was right or wrong about these things, about Isaiah Thomas and Scottie Pippen, to me, it all sounds scripted. It all sounds scripted. Now, people are going to say, like they said before, yeah, well, Scottie Pippen, he knew it was going to be in the Last Dance, and he approved it. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's where it seems scripted, the whole thing. Because Scottie Pippen, after that, he went out and tried to destroy Michael Jordan by, creating this book. So you knew you were going to get royalties for approving the Last Dance, but then you get mad? How does that make any sense? So to me, it just sounds scripted. 1 minute, it's like, well, I'm just saying that Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, the whole thing sounds scripted so people can make money. Because Mike, he could have left the Scottie Pippen thing alone. He wasn't even playing at the time. And the Isaiah Thomas thing, they hadn't even been beefing like that. So why try to rekindle that? Even if you, like I said, even if you do say something about it, you could just say, I don't think it was a good look by Isaiah Thomas. That's it. I'm not trying to say Isaiah Thomas ain't an asshole. We all know he is. But I'm just saying, why say that if it wasn't even no beef leading up to that? The beef was already pushed to the side. People think I'm trying to protect Isaiah Thomas in this whole thing. No, I'm not. But people got to remember, you can't have your cake and eat it too, and that's what Michael Jordan sometimes does. Michael Jordan got his ass whooped. He had to get his ass whooped just to start winning championships. He had to get his ass whooped by the bad boy Pistons. So John Sally was whooping his ass, who is a good friend of his. Dennis Rodman was whooping his ass, then played on the Bulls. Wasn't it somebody else that played on the Bulls for the Pistons? I'm not for sure. But they whooped your ass for like 4 years, and then you played with them? But you're mad about, Isaiah Thomas walking out? Make that make sense. And I never looked at it that way when Isaiah Thomas said it. But you got to do, you have to think, these are some of the guys that were trying to end your career, and now you're playing with them. I was listening to Reggie Miller the other day. He was talking about, oh, yeah, don't say nothing bad about Mike. Don't say nothing about Mike. And it's not bad. I shouldn't say that. But they make it seem like you can't say nothing about Mike, or it's all these consequences. What do you mean? It's all, but yet the media has destroyed Mike's era, talked all this bad stuff about Michael Jordan. Where's the consequences for LeBron James in the media? Where's the consequences? Where's the consequences? If you're talking about Michael Jordan, but yet the media has tried to destroy this guy's legacy, and LeBron James played part of it. Where's the consequences with these guys? These guys now made a lot of money, basically off of nothing. A fake GOAT debate. Imagine that. Michael Jordan done let these guys make all this money off a fake GOAT debate. Where's the responsibility in all this? So Michael Jordan literally sit back and let these guys destroy the NBA. Well, no, this is the way they want the NBA, really. The media. But I'm just saying, he don't sit back and let these guys destroy what was a great NBA. He won't beef with LeBron James and the media that literally has destroyed this game, has made money off of fake GOAT debate all these years, but he'll beef with Barkley, Pippen, Isaiah, whoever. He'll beef with all these people. But he won't beef with the media? And like I said, man, the whole thing is whatever you want to believe about the Isaiah Thomas. I'm not trying to say all that's totally fake, but to me, some of a lot of that sounds scripted to make money, because there's a way that beef could have never happened. Like I said, you could have just been on Last Dance and said, "Oh, it wasn't a good look." You know what I'm saying? You go, what do you call it? I can't think of the word. But you take the high route. You know what I'm saying? People talk, oh, Michael Jordan ain't going to participate in no GOAT debate. Michael Jordan ain't going to participate in being on live on NBC because he's too high and mighty for this. He's too high and mighty to show up to NBC dance panel. But you're not too high and mighty at times to take the high route and say, yeah, I'm just saying, it wasn't cool when Isaiah Thomas walked out. Instead of calling him an asshole on national TV. Again, I'm not trying to say he wasn't, but he knew if he said that after they had it beef for decades, that was going to stir up that. He knew if he put that on The Last Dance, something that Scottie Pippen, that messed him up emotionally for the rest of his life, not being able to get that last shot after Mike wasn't there at that time. Whether he was going to hit it or not, who cares? Why comment on that and put that in The Last Dance when you wasn't even there? I'm just saying, those are some of the things that he could have did. Because these same Michael Jordan fans will say, oh, well, he's taking a high route of, not really caring about, being in a GOAT debate or, going deep in a GOAT debate and caring what the media says, caring about what LeBron. He's taking a high route. But these things, he couldn't take the high route. I mean, like I said, big time Michael Jordan fans saw all the games since '88. But, we got to put some proper context in it because, people act like Michael Jordan is perfect. Nope, nobody's perfect, guys. These guys that run back and try to protect Michael Jordan every time a fake LeBron James fan says this. Oh, this LeBron James fan said this on the channel. This LeBron James fan said that on his channel. Like I said, man, we out here sounding like we gay or something for Michael Jordan. We out here sounding like we gay. I'm just saying, man, it's starting to sound gay, especially when a man don't even have your back to protect you. And you can say, oh, Michael Jordan ain't got to say nothing. Well, he says something. He says things when he wants to say them. he beefed with other people that played in his era, but won't beef with, the media, who basically try to destroy his image, his era, and the guys he played against in other eras. I'm just saying that the Michael Jordan is going out sad, man. To me, it's just going out sad. And on top of that, for him to show up AI style, and these Michael Jordan fans won't even call that AI, because they know the LeBron James fans will eat that up. The fact that the media can even make money off of lies is just, and Michael Jordan don't say nothing about it. It's kind of sad, folks. Like I said, Michael Jordan ain't had his fans back in this whole GOAT debate. Never. To me, never. It's just been too many things that's been said in him not even, say nothing. And then his fans will say this, oh, well, he ain't got to say nothing. And it's just crazy, man. Yes, you do have to say something. You should have said something from the beginning until now. Nobody wants to hear you AI style come on NBC and just say the obvious and tell these weird stories. Nobody cares. And actually, you coming and doing this is bad, because you're showing up AI style in the first place when you should be showing up live with all the other dudes. Everybody can show up live, Kenny and Shaq and Charles and all these guys from the 2000s, but you can't show up live? That's crazy. How insane is that? I mean, now you're playing God. Wow. So you don't even want to physically connect with you was just a basketball player. You was just the greatest basketball player of all time. You're like, this is like God. We praising a God that we can't see, right? Every day in characters in the Bible. This is religious style with Michael Jordan now. We supposed to praise a God that we can't even see live, folks. He can go to these NASCAR races and all this stuff with these people. He'd be on his yachts and boats and stuff like that, but he can't be on NBC live with the rest of the guys. That for me, that's pretty disappointing for the Michael Jordan fans. That he can't even be on a panel with these guys, these all-time greats out there on NBC for at least 1 hour. I mean, or however long it takes for the money this guy's making. And Michael Jordan got so much money, he could have turned down the money and did it for the love of the game. The love of the fans that never seen him play because they were too young. He could have showed up and been live on them panels and did it for the love of the game. And that guy still won't be losing the money. You know what that would really mean to the Michael Jordan fans, or the stuff like that. Even the LeBron James fans, they would get to see a real scoop of Michael Jordan on those panels live. But no, this dude is playing God. This is the way Michael Jordan is going to go out, folks. Playing God and showing up AI style. And also, let me say this right here, man. Look, I'm gonna be truthful with you, man. And I'm always on point. I'm always truthful because you guys know I don't do this for money. But until the sports community, the NBA community, the content creators be upfront and be truthful about what's happening with these guys on podcasts, then you're never gonna get the reason why these guys are on these podcasts saying these things, whether it's ex-NBA players, current NBA players, or now we see NFL players, right? So what you guys got to realize, like I've been trying to tell you, these guys never made the kind of money we was told, okay? How do you confirm that? Well, you got to have some common sense, folks. Nobody's going to hold your hand as an adult and tell you every single thing that you should be able to use common sense with and basic comprehension skills with to know these things, okay? So these players, like I said, after they retire, for years, we're not just putting it on, a certain player, but in a certain decade, for years, when they retire, folks, they run and go get a job. They run and go get a job real fast. It's, I always like, compare it to, us regular people out here working, killing ourselves, working all these hours for no money. And, we're out here playing the lottery, hoping we're going to win. People that play that thing for 30, 40, 50 years ain't won it big. If anything, they done won a couple $1,000s or something like that. But we always got the mindset to where we're like, man, if I ever hit that lottery, man, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy that. I ain't never working again. Oh, we just got those, those dreams. We say it all the time. We done said it for years and decades and things like this. Well, guess what, folks? These guys did hit the lottery, right? The tens of millions that these guys supposedly made. And they still have to go get a job when they retire, folks. They still got a coach, color analyst, sit on the desk and be an analyst, be a backup coach or a trainer, just all this stuff. And now the new thing is they have to podcast to make money. So this ought to be like, okay, back in the past, you could be like, well, man, maybe they just like to, be around basketball. Maybe this is, we just give them some excuse, right? That's what we do naturally as human beings because we don't grow up. We're like, we're like children. You know what I'm saying? We still keep making up excuses as we get older. That's why, we vote. That's why we're on a certain party, a Democrat, Republican, and they both work together to screw the people. But, we like a certain values of a certain party, but, we both know they're here to screw us. Nevertheless, but like I said, we've always made excuses for what we see from these guys in the past, having all this money and still having to go get a job after they retire. But the fact is, now you have no excuse, folks. These guys are sitting on podcasts, and not only are they just because they have podcasts, it's because they're saying the most outrageous things just to get attention on their podcast, right? They're saying the Nick Wright stuff. They're saying the Shannon Sharp stuff. They're doing, saying the Callan Cowherd stuff. They're not unique about what they're saying on these podcasts. it's the same old thing. It's a whole bunch of clickbait. There's no originality to none of it. And I don't know what to say, guys. I've done said it a million times, and I just don't know what else you need to see. I just don't know what else you need to see from these guys, or hear from these guys to let you know they don't make this kind of money. And like I said, they're running for a paycheck when they retire. And now the easy thing, well, of course, I always say this, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say these guys are broke and they don't have no money and they never made millions, folks. No, I'm not saying that. That's a ludicrous statement, and that would be ludicrous to think that. But like I keep saying, yes, these guys got paid millions, but not the millions we were told. Remember, what confirms this? Another thing that confirms this is now they're giving these players in the 2020s, the worst era of all time, they're giving them, as far as viewership. We can say anything about the way they play and all that stuff, but the viewership just tells it all, folks. Nobody wants to see these guys. But yet they're giving these guys record-breaking contracts for what? What would be the purpose? How are you making this kind of money when nobody's watching this crap? They're yet to explain any of this. Nobody's watching it. Nobody's watching it. But these guys are making record-breaking contracts. I'm just saying, man, I'm not the smartest dude in the world at all. But for some reason, they can't explain this. They can't explain none of it. They keep telling you about these TV deals when nobody is watching the games. And now, somebody told me, one of my subs, oh man, Michael Jordan came back. And, since Michael Jordan came back, the viewership has been up such and such and such and such. And I'm like, oh, okay. Let them tell you that. Let them tell you that. Guys, all the TV does is lie, okay? That's all the TV does, is lie. I won't believe. Remember, when Shannon Sharp came over to ESPN, remember this? Remember, all of a sudden, the viewership skyrocketed. That's what they told you. They told you the viewership skyrocketed when Shannon Sharp came over there. Next thing you know, they're putting a fake case on the man to try to get him off ESPN because they don't want to tell the truth. It wasn't getting a viewership. It wasn't getting a viewership, folks. Nobody cares about Stephen A. Smith, and nobody cares about Shannon Sharp, okay? And it to me, it's just ESPN as a whole. As a whole, nobody cares about them no more. All they do is lie. So nobody's tuning in to watch that trash. So they lied about that viewership, and before you know it, like I said, they had to get rid of Shannon with a fake case, telling us he likes women. Even he would laugh. He was, oh girl, you believe they told everybody I like women. Shannon Sharp likes women. Wow, get the hell out of here. Anyways, yeah. So until the YouTube, the so-called YouTube truth community comes forward and tells you why these guys are saying these ludicrous things about Michael Jordan, and don't worry, football is coming next. Don't worry. But they're going to keep saying these things, all these ex-players, because they don't have that kind of money, folks. They're trying to make money. It don't matter if they're lying or telling the truth, which basically they're lying because they need to get a reaction. So if the big boys lie, then the reaction, it's a ripple effect into the rest of the poor. That sounds mean. The ones who don't have money like that, right? The ones who never got professional status or athlete status. Now they're on their channel or podcast, whatever you want to call it, and they're trying to rebuttal the lie that these athletes are telling about Michael Jordan, or just whatever to talk about. This is the world we live in now, folks. And that's why I was telling you, that's what sums it up right there. That's what puts the cherry on the cake, that they literally have to lie. TJ, what's his name? TJ Guzmanzada, whatever his name is. He used to play for the Bengals, I guess, and some other teams, was on there with Acho Cinco, whatever the hell his name is. And they were talking about the players. I guess they got a podcast together. And they were talking about the players low managing. And TJ, he never worked out on the NFL Network, folks. I mean, where was he at? I think he came on one of those shows. I don't know if it was CBS. I want to say it was CBS. He came on one of them shows, and it just didn't work out for him. It didn't work out for him. He wasn't, he was messing up and just messing up. Kind of like Emmitt Smith, right? We all would have loved to see Emmitt Smith on one of them Sunday panels, or Jerry Rice, but they couldn't speak. Your first year on there or something like that, they'll let you mumble and fumble and fumble and bumble. But after that, they're not going to let you keep doing that. You got to be able to be on point. So DJ, he was on one of them NFL morning shows, and it just didn't work out. I'm talking about one of the big ones, on like CBS or Fox or something like that. And I don't think he was on ESPN, but he was like on one of them big ones, and it didn't work out for him. And then I've seen him on little NFL shows and stuff like that, but nothing like real big. And then I guess he was on, I want to say he had a Fox radio show with a few guys. It was okay, wasn't all that. But anyway, this guy, he was talking about NBA low managing, and he's down with it. He's saying that it will make them $250,000 more extending their career. He said it would make them $250,000 more if they extended their careers. So he's down with it. He said, hate on that. And I was just like, okay, so now where you at right there with that? First of all, he's trying to act like these guys really make this kind of money in a dying ass NBA. Second of all, the reason why these players want to extend their career because they're not making the money we were told or are told, whatever. If you want to go past tense or you want to go now, they never made the money we were told, and they're not making the money we're told right now. That's why these guys want to extend their career, folks. This don't seem like guys who have money and say, this is it for me. I'm dead tired. I want to go enjoy my life. I want to go retire. They don't move like that, folks. They don't move like that. They actually move like they want to actually make the money we were told. They want to actually make more money. And I'm not talking about the money we've been told. I'm talking about make some money because they got to keep playing. That's the only way they're going to make anything close to what we've been told. I'm telling you, man, these guys ain't making this kind of money. This is for entertainment purposes only. No way. No way. I mean, remember I was talking about, the whole Michael Jordan beef with Pippen. I think that was scripted. We never seen a fight ever until that Last Dance thing. So it looked like that thing was scripted so Michael Jordan could make his buddy Pippen some money. That's it. We never heard no beef between Pippen and Jordan. Never, ever, ever. But guess what? This will make Pippen some money. If they're good friends, I'm not trying to say they're best friends, but Michael Jordan and Pippen always been good friends. Why not make my buddy some money with the dummies out here? Because the media is going to promote it as real. And guess what? And then the YouTubers are going to suck it up as real because they want to get paid too. Everything out here is about money, folks. That's why they won't tell you that these players don't make this kind of money on these YouTube platforms. Imagine the NBA going belly up. I don't think it'll go belly up, but I'm just saying it don't sell like it used to. Even though, yes, it don't sell like it used to. But I'm talking about it's getting like MLB, NHL attention. That's tough. These YouTubers don't never want that. The ones that cover the NBA, they never want that. Their money will dry up. I don't know, man. We haven't really heard nothing too much about the NBA this year and about the play. LeBron James, it's really a LeBron James effect because every single day they would be talking about the Lakers game. Every single day what happened in the Lakers game. What LeBron said, how he played, all this stuff. It ain't none of that no more, guys. It's really quiet. Nobody's really talking about NBA games as much as they used to. As far as, who won and in what game. Remember, I don't even hear nobody talking about Victor Wembanyama having his bad games. Everybody just seen that as soon as he started having bad games, nobody wants to talk about it. When he was dominating in the first 4 games, they said he was greater than Wilt Chamberlain. He was going to dominate the league. Now that he's pooping all over himself, the last 5 games, nobody don't want to talk about it. Nobody want to talk about it. I'm trying to tell you. What did I tell you guys? I said when LeBron James is gone, the NBA is over. When LeBron James is gone, the NBA is going to be MLB status. Nobody gives a damn about these international players. I hate to tell you, they don't. LeBron James will be a damn afterthought if anybody cared about these international players. And I'm talking about the viewership. I'm talking about the viewership. If anybody really cared about these international players, your Jokers, your SGAs, yes, they promoting Luka up there. Your Joel Embiids, even nobody don't give a damn about Anthony Edwards. He's a fraud. Nobody really cares about Greek Freak. These guys ain't real big stars. I'm telling you, in NBA lore, in NBA history, in sports, these guys ain't big stars like that, folks. They're not American stars on top of that. They're not. They want American people to grasp on to these top 5 guys who are international players who don't even promote the NBA. They really don't. They're not nothing. We've been like, oh yeah, we've never seen this before. we never seen this greatness before. So I was just trying to tell you, the NBA, remember I said this. If I need to go back about, grab all these videos, like I said when LeBron James retired, it's over for the NBA. They better hope his ass don't retire this year. It don't matter really. You don't have to do it. But whenever he retires, it's over. You know why? Because the media, or not the media, the NBA has not ran its league based on on-court greatness the past 10 years. The NBA has ran their league based on a soap opera of a loser doing it wrong. And then them having the nerve to put him up against the greatest basketball player of all time. And probably the greatest sports star of all time, Michael Jordan. LeBron James, they actually did that in the NBA. So their league is over. You might not have all these, all this big soap opera and these shenanigans like you've been having with the LeBron James the past 10, 15 years. And a lot of people say, oh, that's good. Yeah, it's great. But it's over. It's over. There's nothing to talk about. You're used to the shenanigans. You're used to the soap opera. You're used to that ish. You can't go back to greatness. You don't have the guys to do it. You don't. You're not playing that style of basketball. You're fooling yourself. LeBron James is the last of the Mohicans to come out of the 2000s. The NBA is an international game, and nobody in the United States gives a damn on that type of basis. Now, yeah, you'll see arenas full, but for the most part, nobody. I don't care about these fake ratings that people are trying to say. They might be, like I told somebody, they might just be like, what do you call that? That initial shock. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew Michael Jordan was going to come back, blah, blah, blah. So everybody was just like, yeah. But now, reality is starting to set in. These guys are low managing. They're still playing no defense. They're scoring all these points. Yada, yada, yada. Michael Jordan never came back. He just came back AR style. And if it's even true about the ratings, they're going to plummet once that reality sets in. Because all these games that you're supposed to play for or pay for, the Peacock and the Amazon, NBA TV, all these different networks they want you to pay for. Now ESPN wants you to pay for that because they done moved away from YouTube TV or whatever like that. So all these networks that they want you to pay to watch the NBA, guess what? And watch some of these big matchups, the guys aren't showing up. They're not playing. They're not playing. So what's going to happen eventually? What will happen eventually? The ratings will go down. And guess what? They'll even plummet higher or lower than what they used to be. Lower than what they used to be. This makes no sense at all. You had all these different, I don't know what you want to call them, networks or by the NBA, and the guys ain't showing up. Providers. All these providers buy rights to the NBA, and these guys ain't even showing up. Again, do these guys seem like guys that are making this kind of money? I've heard people say, oh, they don't have to show up because they're making all this money. They're giving them... What kind of world do we live in? They're trying to make you dumb, folks. Dumb. they're not showing up because they know they're going to get the money anyways. No dummy in this whole entire world, one, will be dumb enough to mess up future money like that by not showing up to work. And for two, ain't no damn way no owners about to give them that kind of money and them not show up for work. Stop lying. They're not showing up to work because they're not getting paid that kind of money, folks. It's plain and simple. Okay? Nobody's going to mess up that. You think the Players Association will be going for that? Hey, guys, you guys got to come to work because it's going to mess up our checks in the future because the fans, they pay our way. Let me get this right. This is the only company, only business where I don't give a damn if it's Wall Street, whatever. The only business, the NBA, to where the employees don't show up to work. And they literally get rewarded more money on top of that for not showing up. Make that make sense. Now, if they're just telling you that, they're turning you into an idiot. This is the nonsense they're selling you. That these guys are actually making this kind of, there's no way. And then you say, well, I got a brain. How are they making all this money if they have to podcast, if they have to go work after they retire with all this money? If they're making all this money, how do they have zero standards? If they're making all this money, how come nobody is watching this trash the past 10 years? Folks, let's get some common thinking, common sense in our minds real quick. Listen, folks. If they want to pay these players $2 million a year, right? The let's just say the highest paid players. If they want to pay them $10 million a year, they could pay them $10 million a year. If they want to pay them $5 million a year, they could say that's all you're getting. And you might say, well, no, hell no. This and that make up all kind of excuses because, like I said, that's what we are. We make up all kind of excuses because we're unable to think for ourselves. But if they want to pay them that money, like I said, they're not going to turn that down. That's still millions of dollars. So you say, well, what's your point? Well, my point is, who knows how much these guys are really getting paid? But my point is, they tell us these guys make this kind of money in one of the worst versions of the NBA in history, where it's got the lowest viewership. So the product on the court isn't good because of the players, but they're trying to tell you that these guys are getting all this money every year, record-breaking contracts, more and more money. And then on top of that, it would be one thing if the viewership was just down because nobody cares about these guys. But the viewership is down because nobody cares about these guys, and they're not showing up to work. And they're not playing defense. But they really want you to believe these guys are making this kind of money. How can the world be that dumb? How can the world be that dumb, folks? And again, they'll be running to go get a job and talking on the podcast like some church women, grown ass men. Imagine you had tens of millions of dollars throughout a 10 to 15 year career. But here you are, supposedly made tens of millions of dollars per year, right? In a 10 to 15 year career, and now you have to gossip like church women on a damn podcast. That's sad, man. That's just sad. That, you know, the saddest part is that it would make me look, my image, I don't know. It would just suck because it was, okay, the people was told I made all this money in my career, and now here I am podcasting to make money. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then I guess if you're dumb, you can deal with that, whatever, because there's a lot of dummies out here. But the fact is, they have to lie on top of that to make money on podcasts. Because other than that, it won't be interesting. So now they got to lie to get other dudes to chirp out there on social media and clap back at the lies. It's just crazy, man. And, you know, you guys can, you know, people get mad because I talk about Michael Jordan. To me, I got the right, man. I watched every Bulls game I lived in Chicago. I watched every single Bulls game since like 87, 88. And I just don't like how Michael Jordan's going out, man. I just don't like it. You're not too proud to get all this money and put it in your pocket from NBC, but the Jordan fans will say he don't have to show up live. He don't have to show up, and be with these other all-time greats on these panels, and he don't have to clap back because of his image. You don't? What do you mean you don't? I think literally LeBron James ain't the main culprit in this. Because if Mike would have clapped back a long time ago, and it don't even have to be at LeBron James, even though he done said his share of messed up stuff about Jordan in his era and past eras. But him just clapping back at the media and the players in his era, I just can't even talk about this no more, man. It's just, it's frustrating because we shouldn't have to be out here protecting Michael Jordan. And like I said, it's fine. You're going to say, well, don't.